You need to improve your diet, but you want a triple cheeseburger. I know. What do you do? Right, Dr. Dansinger? That's what Becky really wants is a triple cheeseburger. Just the other day, our friend Becky ended up sharing a picture of a plate with cucumbers, a couple of pickles, and raw tuna fish mashed up. And she said, "Tell me how to turn this into a triple cheeseburger." And I said, "I bet you there is one person on this planet, the world renowned Dr. Michael Dansinger, who helped all of those patients on NBC's The Biggest Loser, and now with diabetesreversalpartners.com, right? In New York and New Hampshire and Massachusetts and Virginia and Minnesota and Florida for those who have Medicare and Medicare Advantage PPO plans. But Becky said, can he help me though? So let's give it a try. What do you think?
I'm excited for the challenge. Okay, so in a moment, Becky, I'm going to ask you some questions, but let me explain how I usually proceed with a new patient. So, the first job of the doctor is to listen.
We like that.
Showing up on time is also, that should be commonplace, not an exception to the rule. And
Mm.
so someone shouldn't have to wait a long time to see the doctor, but you want to use that time wisely. And the
But
most
also, it's both that need to show up, right? We need both the doctor and the patient to be committed to this relationship.
right, absolutely. And sometimes it takes courage
Mm.
to go to a healthcare
Yes.
professional and ask for help. And so the first job of the doctor is to listen, and that's the most effective use of time during the initial start. So, Becky, I'm about to ask you a question, and it's very important for me to understand why you're interested in help. What issues, what symptoms, what medical problems, what fears, what possibilities have caused you to reach out today? So that's my first question. What can I do for you?
So, first, I want to say thank you very much. Love you to pieces. Big hug from afar.
Thank you.
Um, I I am trying my best to avoid the aortobifemoral bypass. I have kissing stents. I have in the abdominal aorta and both iliacs. I currently have the left leg from below knee is blocked up in one of the arteries. So I have limited blood flow to the foot. Um, I do have blood flow right now. I'm patent and and I still have pains. But what I realized, me and my primary doctor, he got me to on Ozempic, and I did really good. In the first couple weeks, I dropped like almost 20 pounds right off the bat, and it felt great. So it also made me rewind in time when years back, I'd go all the way back to 2006. I was having pains and I didn't know what was wrong with me and I kept seeking help. And the doctor at the time, he didn't look for PAD or anything, but he my blood pressure was 275 over 125. And so he told me he wanted me to go to the hospital and my kids were little. I couldn't go. So so he made me sign a piece of paper and he told me real blunt. He said, "Lose the weight." I was at that time I was over 200. I was pushing 300 pounds. And he said, "Do it or die." And that's where you're at. And he made me sign the paper because I wouldn't go to the emergency room. So I lost 100 pounds and I worked really hard at it. And I felt great. And some of the pains in my legs disappeared. And then as I got bigger again, the pain started returning. And then I was smoking more. And then so I went through the cycle. But I remember how good I felt when I lost that weight. When I finally got down to 145, I felt my hips, my legs felt so much better. And so now with the Ozempic, I got down to I started Ozempic at 190 and I got down to 167 and I started feeling really good. And that's when I got the most steps since I've been diagnosed. So I was diagnosed in October of 21, and those steps happened in 24. And I know now, now I know. I know that if I keep this weight off, I've quit the cigarettes. I did that in 22, and now I understand if I do my regular walking and I keep this weight off, I can possibly avoid this bypass. And my vascular doctor thinks so too. But food is the devil. And one of my big problems has been Dr. Pepper. And I'm proud to say that April 4th, I switched from regular Dr. Pepper to Dr. Pepper Zero. And now it's a month, and now I don't even really want the Dr. Pepper Zero. So it's kind of, got me away from the sugar part of it, at least. I'm sure that the Dr. Pepper Zero is not great for me either, but at least I'm not getting the sugar. And so I know that if I get this weight gone, I really think that I can do better. It's not about achieving it for looks. It's totally about, I don't want to get cut open from head to toe. I'm scared to death of that. Did I answer it?
You've done a great job giving some very important background. And, what I'm hearing is you have severe circulation problems that have been related to a history of excess body weight and smoking and high blood pressure, and that over time you've made dramatic improvements. You quit the smoking, you lost a lot of weight, you're trying to eat healthily, and um, as you've made health improvements, you've noticed improvements in your symptoms, and that's phenomenal. And what you're describing is something almost all of us are dealing with on a daily basis. Food is the devil, right? And
Yes.
but that's an oversimplification, right? Many of us have seen the metaphor of the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder, which does a good job, I think, describing how the human brain is. We all have a pleasure center. I mean, we all find that sugary, sweet things can taste good in the moment. It differs from person to person, but we're all eating unhealthy foods because they taste good, and we're trying to be very strategic about how often and how much of that we eat. And we all know that there's healthy foods out there. I'll just pick broccoli and spinach as examples. And that if we eat more of the healthy and less of the unhealthy, that it'll help our health. And if it was so easy to do that, then everyone would do it and we would have no problem. But in many ways, just like cigarettes, which is much more all or none, straightforward, black and white. No one has to smoke, but it's very difficult for people to give up cigarettes. And getting from 2 packs a day down to 1 pack a day is better, and getting from 1 pack to a half pack. And all that to say that with eating, it's very challenging, but it's very important to be able to really focus on a healthy eating plan, because that is where we want to get our medicine from, where we want our the better we can do with using food and lifestyle as medicine, then the more we're able to minimize the amount of medicine, actual pills and shots that we need. And so I hear what you're saying, and let's figure out a way forward to deal with these challenges. So let me ask you, what's your current weight now? Did you say it's 167?
189. I jumped back up to
189. And you've been as low as 145 pounds at one point at the lowest. Is that right?
I'm 6 foot. So I got down to 135 that
Mm-hmm.
time before, and then the doctor told me that that was too low, and he said don't go no lower than 145.
Yeah. What weight would you like? 145?
145, 150 I'm okay with.
And another question, do you have diabetes or high blood
No,
sugar?
no
Mm-hmm.
diabetes.
Right. Okay. And are you at the full dose of Ozempic or a low or middle dose? Do you know?
So I stopped the Ozempic because for 2 months it didn't do anything. It just stalled. So
Mm-hmm.
I stopped it, and then I tried again, and it still didn't do anything. So then I switched to semaglutide, and it didn't do anything. And then now I'm on Wegovy, and I'm on the 6th week, and it hasn't done it. I don't even feel sick or feel like I'm taking anything with it. And I'm up to the point 0.5 on it.
Yeah.
Well,
And you
Govi is a semiglutide, isn't it? As well. It's in the same class, I thought, as Ozempic, but maybe not.
it's a GLP-1
Hmm.
and um so Ozempic and Wegovy are different forms of semaglutide.
Yep.
Yes. So
The, my thing is, I feel like something switched off in me, or either turned on or
yeah,
turned off, and it's not working anymore.
you've been stuck at around 189 and
Yep.
you want to take off another 40 pounds at least. And you've been there
Yep.
before. And you know that that improves um, your circulation and your vascular disease. If only you can find a way to stick to a healthy eating plan. So what are,
Yes.
right? So, and I'll ask you about exercise. Have you been able to do any exercise?
So my steps are have been decreasing, and that's partially because I've been being lazy, basically since January, but I've been on the climb back up. And so now I've gotten myself to where I can get over the 10,000 steps in a constant, I stop in between there, but in a like I start at 6 and I may finish at 9, getting them if I have to stop in between, but I don't like go in the morning and then go back later. I try to get it all then. So I've gotten back up to where most recent was I crossed 12, and then I do the rest of my day still around it. I try to make my steps purposeful so that I know that those are the purposeful ones, not including what all I have to do for the day.
Right. So you have the ability to get at least 10,000 steps a day if, I mean, your body will allow it if you're able to overcome the um, logistical and psychological barriers that interfere with your opportunities. Is that a true, is that the
It
case?
the pain, so I in January, my son had a grandbaby, so basically I sat on my butt for 2 months and ate all kinds of bad stuff. and and so I had my steps at where I don't want to say it wrong. So I have pain all day, every day, and from hips down, but there's levels to it. And so I can push through and make those and still tolerate the rest of my day. I'm at that point. At the beginning, when I first started back up about 6 weeks ago, I was suffering. I suffered just to get 2,000 steps in, to be honest with you. And so
Right.
now I'm up there again.
Okay. So what do you think it would take to get up to 10,000 steps a day average? A little higher on some days, a little lower on other days, but to be able to achieve that recommended 10,000 steps, what do you think it would take in your life to get to that? What would have to change? Anything?
I don't have anyone that holds me accountable.
So putting yourself in the position, you can do it, but it's mind over matter. It can be
It
done,
really,
but but
it's the truth. It's the same with food. Like I get upset and
mhm,
I get disgusted
right.
because I'm like, this is all life has become. This is all I'm gonna do every day is sit here and fight for these steps and I
Yeah.
can't have a triple cheeseburger.
Yeah.
It's awful.
We'll come back to the food in a minute, but I want that
Okay.
exercise. And, you know, I think we all recognize there's a big difference between knowing what to do versus doing it consistently on a daily basis, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's very challenging. I mean, it's easy. Many at any given moment, you might not feel like taking a walk, right? It's easier
Mhm.
to find more pleasant things to do if you're not craving a walk. It's easy to find reasons not to. And that's just human nature, right? We all have, a split, you know, between what we know is right versus what we feel like doing sometimes. But there's a lot at stake, right? You have
Yeah.
grandchildren. And the how many grandchildren do you have?
This was the first one.
Yes. And so when you know that you should go for a walk, but you don't feel like going for a walk, sometimes you have to remember what's at stake. And let me put it this way, the best gift that you can give to your grandchild so that you can have a long-term relationship is to give them the gift of your good health.
Wow.
Let me put it
You know
this
what I
way.
did?
Oh, go ahead.
You know what I did? You're right. And you know what I did? I changed my picture on my phone to,
Yes.
the picture that when you open it up, what comes up, the picture is a picture of the grandbaby. And that's my
Perfect.
motivation.
Let that be a reminder on a daily basis to do the best you can with what you've got and to give that gift to your future self. So when I was age 11, my grandfather died of heart disease, and it was the 1970s. They didn't know as much about heart
I'm
disease in
sorry.
those days as we know now. We have all sorts of things available now that we didn't have back then, but I feel cheated out of you know, I, his wife, my grandmother, continued to live on for 30 years. And she and I had a very close relationship. And I adored that relationship I had with my grandmother, who lived to age 97, because
Oh wow.
she went walking every day. And I didn't realize it at the time when I was young, but in a sense, it was a gift to me so that she could live, so that we could have a long-term relationship well into my adulthood. And so when you don't feel like taking a walk or doing the exercise, or if you need a reminder of the difference between um, knowing what to do versus doing it, let that be part of your motivation. So
Yeah, I
what you
agree. I
what you
agree.
don't want, of course, is any kind of preventable amputation. If you can prevent an amputation, let that be another reason. And so there you
Sure.
could probably come up with a list of 10 good reasons why it's important to keep yourself healthy, and keep that list on your phone and refer to it on a regular basis anytime you need motivation. You can put them in order. So that's for the exercise. Eating is even trickier, I think. So because you want to live your life to the fullest, you want to be able to enjoy some favorite foods from time to time. And I never tell people you've just eaten your last cheeseburger. Most people like cheeseburgers, right? Everyone can come up with a list of unhealthy foods that they like. I like lasagna.
Oh
I
yeah.
I hardly ever eat it because it's not good for you. But I could not bear the thought of never having lasagna again or any of my favorites. So I occasionally eat these unhealthy foods, even though they're unhealthy because they're they're delicious, and
Mhm.
the skill set that we're trying to master is finding the right balance. And so, what most of my patients are able to do in order to succeed is 90% strict on the eating. And most of my patients who are trying to fight cardiovascular disease and peripheral artery disease and diabetes and high blood pressure, etc., are striving to be 90% strict on their eating, meaning most of what they're eating is vegetables and lean proteins and a moderate amount of fruit, and that they're steering clear of cheeseburgers and lasagnas and Oreos and Doritos, but also starchy foods like pasta, bread, potatoes, things made out of corn, things made out of wheat flour, and just saving those for special occasion foods.
Come on,
So,
Dr. D. You're ruining everything for all of us.
so if I was asking for perfection, that would be unreasonable. But 90%, how can we get closer to 90%? Becky, I'd love your any thoughts, any feedback on what I'm saying.
I- I'm really trying, and I've been watching you. I watch
Mhm.
almost all the shows.
Yes.
I've missed a couple, but I go back and I watch them afterwards. And I've really been trying, and so I'm learning at the same time because I've when we were little, the budget was a certain amount of money, and
Yeah.
my dad would set
Right.
us down at the table, and I remember this all the way back to Pampers, that they wrote down what the meal would be for the day for
Yeah.
everyone. And it was what fit the budget. There was nothing considered about what was healthy. It was what would make us some kind of fool for the day. So I grew up with that, and then myself, I'm a real estate broker, and I'm also in construction. So I it's real easy to drive through the drive-through and eat.
Mhm.
And so I've tried to change that. And now I've been doing boiled eggs. I've been doing tuna. I've been doing the sliced cucumbers. I've been juicing. I've been doing those things. And that's what's frustrating is, and I know that I've only been doing it a few weeks now, but,
Mhm. It's
but,
a
you know,
start. You started.
you, you want the results like the Ozempic, like when that first week and that 16 pounds fell off, it was like, hell yeah, this is great. And now I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've been eating these freaking cucumbers for a week now and I ain't dropped a pound. What's going on? you know so the frustration is there, but I'm really trying, and my problem is trying to figure out how to get protein in right now. Kim got me doing the chia seeds. I did those, and my God, I thought I was going to explode with constipation because I didn't understand about the SOCM. So I had a week of misery.
That need liquid.
And then we got past that. And then so
Hemp
now I'm
seeds are
trying to,
also great.
yeah, okay. Look.
You can add the hemp seeds to your tuna fish. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate.
So now I'm trying to do the protein powder. And my sissy told me about the whey protein, and she sent me the one she's trying. So I'm trying that one. And that one, it seems like if I get the amount that I'm supposed to get for the day, then I feel like somebody just blew me up like a balloon.
Yeah, you're like bloated.
Oh my God, it's so
Yeah.
miserable. And I have to skip the next day for it to go away. And I don't know there if I'm, using the wrong kind that doesn't agree with me, or if I'm, if it's my body. I sent a picture to Kim to show her that, I'm the type of person that my sister will portion it out in the little measuring spoons and cups and things. And meanwhile, I'm like, no, 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 look, just here, pour the whole thing in there. That's how we do it. It's done.
Oh,
Done.
he has the picture. He has the
Oh,
picture, Becky.
okay, good.
Oh, I
So you
sent it.
yeah, so you understand what I mean. Like if I'm like a right now person, and I just don't have those skills of measuring it, and you know.
But
I'd
what
rather
if you
go to
have a
work.
balanced breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What if you had a couple eggs, Dr. D, in the morning with a thing of blueberries, maybe a few walnuts, and then at lunch, maybe have, a bison burger that you put in a lettuce wrap with beautiful tomatoes and red onions and a little bit, some pickles in there. You're getting some good protein, you're getting some veggies. And then for dinner, a great piece of salmon and some sauteed chard.
What Yeah, Kim, what you're describing there, right? Three meals, those meals are consisted of protein and vegetables for the most part, real food, foods that have one ingredient that you assemble in, an infinite opportunity, many
Yeah.
different ways at home. That's the challenge. And to do that takes time and effort and practice. It's a skill set that
Mhm.
many people don't have. And it's it's hard to find effective shortcuts, and that it's all about real food. And so yes, boiling eggs and having hard-boiled eggs can definitely work. For many people, opening a can of tuna can be a good protein source, or buying frozen seafood like shrimp or salmon, for example, wild salmon can work really well. Frozen, chicken breasts, fresh or frozen, can work really well. It's about coming up with a repertoire of quick, easy meals where you're combining protein and vegetables. That takes a lot of practice, and I think that's where a lot of people get hung up. They um they need more practice in a skill set that takes some practice.
Yep.
It's easier to resist unhealthy foods when you're not hungry. And so if you've eaten a meal 1 or 2 or 3 hours previously, it's a lot easier to resist those temptations. And I think that's
Yeah.
an important part of it as well. So my breakfast is typically protein and fruit in the form
Yeah, me too.
of Greek low-fat yogurt,
Yeah.
and I add frozen berries that I've thawed. I just take a giant bag of from the grocery store of frozen berries, and I thaw them on Sunday evening, and then they're ready to go all week long. And it takes me about a week to use up that bag of frozen berries, and I add that to my yogurt every morning. Some people would call that boring and monotonous. I call it quick and easy, and
Yes, me
I
too.
enjoy it. And for lunch every day, I have low mercury tuna, or I have wild salmon that I thaw, when I get back from the gym in the morning, and in the evening. That's my main meal that varies from day to day, and it's protein and vegetables. And on the weekend, I might go out to eat once and try to find something, that's going to be the right balance between freedom and strictness. And when you get into a routine and it's practiced, then
Yeah.
you can achieve 90% strictness.
Is that helpful, Becky?
It is.
One of the things that I do as well is on Amazon, you can get these coconut turmeric wraps, and I just keep them handy. I put them in my purse sometimes. I take them on vacation with me. When we went on a cruise, my dad and myself in December, it was so easy because when they would serve me a bowl of rabbit food, I would just take everything and stuff it into my wrap, add a little bit of vinegar and oil, and it was easy on the go. And I could have something a little bit healthier. Also, I cook up some pasture raised chicken at the beginning of the week, and I just tear it up into little pieces and put it into little baggies, and I take it out in the morning, and it's ready for me. I could put it on a salad. I could stick it in a wrap. I even at Trader Joe's, they have these great Egyptian sourdough pockets. They're like pita pockets, and you can cut it in half. And then you have one that you split into 2 days. And one day you could put some tuna with some other veggies into it. Another day you can do chicken. And you can even, Dr. Dansinger, what do you think? Some low fat or just a slice of Parmesan cheese in there to make it feel a little heartier, like that triple cheeseburger.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like
cheese
to
is
use cheese as a condiment, not, just a little bit goes a long way. Yes.
Little
Oh,
sprinkles.
I used to just, that's what when my blood pressure was 275 over 125, the doctor said, "What are you eating?" I said, "Doc, I really don't eat that much. Like I get up, I go in the morning and, I might grab a hunk of cheese out of the refrigerator." And he's like, "That's it right there." And I'm like, "No, no, it's just cheese, Doc." And he's like, "No, cheese." He said, "You can't eat a block of cheese a day." I was like, "Why not? I mean, it's good." He said, "Because you're gonna die from all the sodium." I said, "Okay."
So now
But I
we're
love
doing
cheese.
eggs are a little better than that, right? That's an easy on the go thing, Dr. D.
I think eggs
Eggs
are
and berries.
terrific. And in fact, so it's not just hard-boiled eggs, which are clearly, easy, but making a vegetable omelet
Oh,
a
yeah.
day before you're going to eat it actually works quite well. So most people are eating their eggs in the morning, and the idea of making them the night before seems counterintuitive, but that works very well. And reheating eggs like an omelet or even scrambled eggs works very well. And so
That's a
sometimes
great idea.
the best time to do it is when you have the time, not when you're rushed in the morning. Becky, you definitely could benefit from coaching, right? I think, putting
Yep.
yourself in a position of structure and accountability and encouragement um, is something that you're lacking.
Yep.
And so many people, when you speak to us about your problem, you're the voice of hundreds of thousands of others who are in a very similar situation, who struggle with figuring out you've done all the things that you can do and you're
Yep.
stuck. And how do you get unstuck? And for many people, coaching is the answer, putting yourself in. And it's a shame that our medical system doesn't provide easier access to affordable coaching. That's why I do what I do.
And
And
that's why we need you to get health insurance in Massachusetts. So next time you're in Boston, Becky, you can do one-on-one coaching with Dr. D. So anyone in Massachusetts or New Hampshire, or New York, or Virginia, or Minnesota, or Florida, Medicare or Medicare Advantage PPO plans, you can have access to Dr. Dansinger's one-on-one coaching, and it's covered by insurance, which is amazing. But if you don't have that, guess what? We're here every single Monday from 12 to 12:30 Pacific time and 2 to 2:30, Becky, Central time, and 3 to 3:30 Eastern time. Even folks in the UK, all of you guys, you can join us live. The dietitians are not readily available, but guess what? Our diet doctor is world-renowned diabetes reversal doctor and doctor of artery health, Dr. Michael Dansinger. Really appreciate you. If you want to inquire about his services, go to diabetesreversalpartners.com. But Becky, I'm thinking each week, let's start next week and start writing down what you're having every single day. This is your accountability through next week. And on Monday, we want to see an update to see the choices that you have made. And hopefully you will have made some progress. What do you think?
Okay.
Hey, we're with you
Okay.
every step of the way. And
I
make
love you
sure
too.
we love you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel.